What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ink Drink Think, episode 25. Tonight, in honor of Disney Plus's new Marvel Studios show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, four comic book creators are sitting down to discuss Captain America, the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, Baron Zemo, Helmet Zemo, the Red Skull, you name it. Everything Captain America related, we're covering it tonight. Guys, I'm your host, Michael Pickard, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderfully talented co-hosts and friends, Johnny Wise.
Hello, I'm Johnny. So this is going to be another one of our swappy episodes. So tonight I am going to be inking Nate's pencils of Baron Zemo, and I got them through yesterday. I'm very, very excited about them. I haven't started yet, although I've been very tempted to. Excited to get into it, and I'm drinking a rum and coke because I'm being bougie again.
There we go.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, you've been coy about showing Nate's pencils, so I'm excited to get into the episode so we can look at them.
I want it to be a fun surprise.
Yeah. But to get there, guys, we're talking about him right now. Joining us as well, fellow co-host and friend, Nate Wells.
Hey guys, Nate Wells. He doesn't want to show them because they're waiting to be fixed by Johnny. And I'm excited to see what you do with them. Today I am inking Captain America pencils from Todd. And much like Johnny, I've been sitting on these pencils for a while. I've had them ready to print. I've got them printed out, and I've just been itching to get into it. You know, really tempting to start early, but I know if I did that, I would have just done it. So I held off on it, and I'm excited to draw it in front of you guys while drinking Bud Light because I am not being bougie tonight and going for Bud Light.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hell yeah.
I almost grabbed a Miller Lite, so I was almost right there with you, but I ended up going the bougie route. I couldn't be cheap on the show. But guys, joining us as well, it's the head of Hydra himself, Todd Blackwood.
Hey now.
Wait a second, that's an accusation.
I do love the Red Skull. I am drawing over Mike. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Very light. And so what I tried to do was, believe it or not, this is still your drawing, but I tried to really exaggerate everything.
Ooh.
Wow, that's crazy. The proportions are so you.
I'm trying to push it, and I'm seeing this stuff. I mean, I hate to be so into somebody right now, but I just am really loving what Robert Valley does, and I've been doing all these designs for this other thing. Not trying to ape him, but trying to channel him. I got the shield in there.
Ooh. Yeah.
So that is still your pose, Michael. Yeah, like I'll show you at some point. Let's put them side by side. It's all there. His costume is really intricate, so it's gonna be really interesting trying to get his costume in there. I will be shocked if I am able to get this very far within this episode.
But guys, to jump around, I am Michael Pickard, like I said. Todd's drawing my Sam Wilson Captain America, which is turning out great so far. And tonight, I am going to be inking the Red Skull as drawn by Johnny. And I've just been sitting on this piece all day, the printed pencils, just ready to jump into it. So, guys, let's get into that Captain America talk. So, guys, this first question is directed at everybody, but I also would really like to direct it towards Johnny in particular, not out of any specific reason. You're not American. But what are your perspectives on Captain America? What are your thoughts on Captain America? And what were your first encounters or exposures to the character?
I used to think he was pretty boring, which is weird coming from a Superman guy. But when I was a kid, I was always like, he's like he's like the Boy Scout Marvel character, but he's not as cool as Superman. I don't know what my first encounter with him would have been. Maybe I think he shows up on the Spider-Man animated series. But really, since the MCU came out, and I kind of have been forced through watching those movies, which I'm a fan of those movies, to reconsider his character. I'm like, damn, he's pretty cool. He's kind of good. And there's some cool Captain America toys out there too, and I'm a big toy guy, so that helps.
When I was younger, and I think this came up in the Thor and Hulk episode maybe, or one episode, but every Avenger, every classic Avenger, my introduction to them was through a box of comics that my dad had. And so I thought Thor was super boring, and like I thought he came off as like really annoying because he only ever spoke in like, thou art, all that, which is now something I love about the comics character. So a lot of my feelings on my initial feelings when I was a kid about all of the characters are now the reason why I love them. But when I was a kid and I was reading like Captain America, I also thought he was boring. But I also thought he was kind of almost like the whole, I don't know, it almost seemed arrogant, maybe. It felt like there was an arrogance to it. Probably because it's an interesting thing that there's a lot more patriotism in America than there is in Britain and the UK. And like my exposure to how people in the UK feel about the UK is like there's a lot more self-deprecation evident. And so if the UK came up with a Captain Britain, I feel like the chances are it would probably be kind of a joke character. So when I was a kid, I was kind of like, who the fuck are these guys who are like making Captain America? And he's like he's Superman, basically. He's slightly different Superman. And now that I'm a little bit older, I no longer have those feelings at all. And I kind of feel like, I mean, he's the same as Superman with like the American way rather than America always, Yeah. He's like, he doesn't never disagree with things that happen in America. He's just always trying to bring it back to the American way and the ideals, which I think is great.
Very Jack Kirby.
Yeah, so I think it was the ignorance of youth that made me not like him initially. But initially, I didn't like him very much.
Well, I'd be curious what material you were reading, because it just depends on who's writing him. Like, it's, there's a lot of different ways Captain America can come across, depending on whether it's Kirby or Grunwald or...
Well, that's true, and I wouldn't be able to tell you. I do know that Kirby's work has always been very familiar because my dad had a lot of comics that were drawn by Kirby. So awesome. A lot of it would have been Kirby era. But I have no idea who was writing it or what. But I don't even think it... I mean, I was young when I was reading these. So it wasn't even like I was reading it and having like, complex thoughts about the way the character was handled. It was more like my young self took one look at like Captain America with the costume and everything. And I was kind of like, fuck off. Like, why is America so good that you get Superman?
So who wants to tell Johnny that there is a Captain Britain and a British person came up with him?
Well, yeah, I did read. I don't know who came up with it. It felt like an afterthought, and also like again, it's just there isn't the patriotism in America. So it wasn't me being like, America isn't better than Britain. It was just like why I was always confused as to why he has to be Captain America when like my favorite characters were like Spider-Man and Wolverine and stuff.
Admittedly, my first exposure to him was in a Amazing Spider-Man comic that I happened to come across when I was a kid in my limited comics access as a child. And he and Spider-Man were teaming up to fight the Spider Queen, who is a Spider-Man character. And that always stuck with me of like, wow, who's this guy running in to help Spider-Man? And of course, then I was introduced to him through things like the Marvel animated series, and I had this rubber Captain America that was maybe like 2 inches tall, and he had like an inflatable tube around him, like it was like a bath toy. But those are my earliest exposures to the character. But then, of course, really the MCU cemented it of, who Steve Rogers is and why you should care about him. And why maybe his ideals aren't so antiquated.
Ooh, I remember my first comic that I read Captain America in. I think it was Secret Wars. And maybe some of the early like Kirby stuff. I really liked old comics when I was a kid, like I do now. But I want to say the first time I really thought he was cool was Secret Wars, which might say a lot about me, but that's
you got a hold of that actually.
Seems like, I had some weird reprint of like all the Secret Wars stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's why I thought he was like the Superman character, because he's very much like the Boy Scout heroic leader in Secret Wars.
So we're talking about Steve Rogers a bit. And one of the things that I think separates Captain America to me, more so than some other superheroes, is that a lot of characters can take on the mantle of Captain America and still hold the values of righteousness that come with that title. But to you guys, I ask, who's your favorite non-Steve Rogers Captain America? So I have an answer, and it's not a correct one, but I'm going to put it in there anyway. Is that in the Ultimate Universe, when Spider-Man gets shot and inevitably dies in his wounds, I forget what the event was called, Captain America picks up Peter Parker's body and says, like, someday, kid, you're going to be the best of us. And in my head, I always thought about, man, how great would it be if Peter Parker grew up to be the Captain America of that universe? But technically it didn't happen, and it's not an accurate answer, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway.
I was going to say, like, a basic answer, Falcon, Sam Wilson, who's a character that I've never cared about. And Mike, you and I were talking about the new show the other day, and I caught the first episode while I was working the other day, and even in the movies, I've never cared about him. I like him, in the show. I like him. And I even I like Bucky probably more than Falcon, but not really just a whole lot. And I really care about these characters even just after one episode. I think that they're building an interesting story. We haven't really seen them team up or anything as of yet, but yeah. I'm excited about the show, and that's something that I really, really did not expect to say.
Yeah, Nate, I'm right there with you. That show made me care about Sam Wilson, whereas going into the show, I was like, I don't really know this character that well. He was in the other Captain America movies, but he never really served a prominent role. Like, he didn't really have his moment to shine yet. And so I was kind of conflicted over whether or not he should take on the mantle in the MCU. But first episode, and I'm totally wrong in having had those thoughts at all, because I'm very much interested in how they're handling his reception to being handed the shield at the end of Endgame.
Well, and it's a shortcoming of the movies that's such a big moment, and I don't think you and I are alone in not caring or not feeling the impact of Steve Rogers handing the shield to Sam and saying, "This is yours now." Even though he has the great line, and they reference it in the show, where he's like, "It feels like it belongs to somebody else." We as the audience should, I think, be rooting for Sam more than at least I was in that moment.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I think that narratively they had set it up to be Bucky throughout the course of the other films, starting in Phase 1 when they introduced the characters. But that said, as much as I might have been disappointed in that moment and kind of like, well, what are you going to do with this to make it compelling? They stepped up to the plate and made me actually care about Sam Wilson's story in this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the show. I watched it, the night after the last episode of Superman and Lois came on before they go on a quick hiatus, and I was just like, man, the quality of this show is incredible after watching another superhero show on TV. And I like Superman and Lois, but I was just like, man, they're not doing anything like this.
I do love Bucky's Captain America suit, though. I think it's one of the better modern superhero designs in comics. It's just a great simplification of Steve Rogers' suit. It looks sleek. I like the shiny elements to it. I like the inclusion of black to separate him as an individual from Steve.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great costume. Suit. Yeah. And Todd, you touched upon it in the intro about drawing Sam Wilson, which I had never done before. But man, his Captain America suit, as much as I like the color contrast with the white, it's so complex. There's so many texture changes and graphic elements and the line work that it's a bit of a struggle to draw it. And kudos to anybody who's had to draw it sequentially, because it's complicated.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I am having to look at it and be like, what's going on here? Especially because I've got the proportions so weird that I'm like, okay, is this going to work? But, worst case scenario, I just end up making stuff up. It doesn't really matter ultimately. But yeah, it's that basic pattern. I was surprised that I didn't think they should mess with Captain America's costume for a long time, and then they updated it with the Ultimates and John Cassaday's version of it, and now I think, especially that new version that got integrated into the movies with like Winter Soldier, where he doesn't really wear a cowl and these white stripes across his shoulders are just awesome looking.
He looks so good. Yeah.
That's a good look on pretty much anybody, and it fits with the motif of Captain America. The stripes, the pinstripes look great on a superhero. I was skeptical about what they were planning on doing with Falcon taking over the mantle, but I feel like they're going to do it right. And really, to me, what they're saying is he's taking over. Captain America is an idea, and what that idea is important to explore. And I think that's what they're doing on the show. You know, Captain America never makes everything about himself, and Sam's got those same qualities. But he's going to become more than just the flying guy. You know, I am curious if they're going to give him super soldier serum though.
Well, they didn't in the comic when he became Captain America, did they?
Well, technically, Sam Wilson from his introduction has superpowers.
Oh, really?
When he was introduced in the comics, he was a ploy by the Red Skull to like dupe Captain America, and so he experimented on Sam Wilson and gave him these powers. Yeah, but he was intended to be a villain. From the Red Skull's perspective, that is. Well, yeah, I was about to say, on the topic of villains, I think Captain America has the benefit of some of the best Marvel villains, especially in design.
I
was saying to Johnny that Baron Zemo is one of my all-time favorite villain designs. It's just because he's pink. It's so great. And the sword, he's just so cool looking.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm inclined to agree, especially now that I'm drawing him.
Yeah, I love the fact that the Marvel movies get the costume in there at some point, that they didn't leave Baron Zemo as just some guy.
Yeah.
You know, the way that they cycled through Captain America's every incarnation of his costume, including a dorky one that looks like from Captain America #1 from 1941. I was like, this is awesome. You're ticking off all the boxes, you know, that we want to see. And that's so exciting when they did the comics accurate Zemo costume finally. Such a great design.
Which of the MCU movies is your favorite?
Ooh.
For Captain America, that is. Because when I saw Winter Soldier for the first time, and actually on the repeat watches, I did not like it. It wasn't until recently that I've seen it that I went, you know what? I do like it. It's pretty good.
Oh, really? Winter Soldier was probably my favorite from the start.
Yeah, I was going to say probably Winter Soldier for me. And then Civil War, and then the first one is last because I like it. I don't love it.
Oh, I'm so close to loving the first one, the Joe Johnston film. It's
Captain America?
Yeah, other than the montage sequence, which I think takes away from you connecting with Steve more, doing the heroic actions in World War II. Oh my god, it's perfect. I think it's like a near perfect World War II Captain America movie.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I was skeptical when they brought him into the modern world. I was skeptical because I thought it was so much more interesting to have him in World War II. But then they pulled that off, you know. But yeah, that first Captain America movie is really special. I think.
Yeah, I really like it. Just for me, none of the like early establishing the character ones are going to be my favorites in hindsight now. I really like it, and I really liked it at the time. But now it just feels like Winter Soldier and Civil War were just... The later ones are just more... I don't know. It feels less formulaic now.
What about you, Nate? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, Winter Soldier probably. Winter Soldier, Civil War maybe. For Captain America movies. Like I said, the first one, I liked it. My big thing with the first one is I wish it was more World War II-y than it is like superhero movie. I don't like that the Hydra guys, the Nazis, come out with like glowing laser guns and shit. And I get that they have like
Really?
this heightened technology. I don't love that though. I wish they were just shooting like machine guns
Hmm.
at Cap. And that's just like a weird. I also like watched it at an age when I was like, if it's not the Christopher Nolan approach to a superhero movie, it's wrong. And so I should probably rewatch it from a more updated lens. But that's because I haven't seen it since I was, I don't remember when that movie came out, 2011 or something. I was, 16
It's
and
probably
very into Christopher Nolan. So
it's probably the movie I've rewatched the most times. The whole Raiders of the Lost Ark thing to it. When they brought him into the modern world after one movie, I was like, oh man, come on, give us at least one more. But that's how the story goes. So
well, I will say, like, Winter Soldier is what I listed as my favorite. I've seen the other two way more times than that one. I may have only seen the Winter Soldier one time when it came out. And I really enjoyed it, and I haven't ever watched it since then. And maybe that says something.
Yeah, actually, I've watched Civil War the most, but it feels like almost cheating to call it your favorite Captain America movie because it's like got
It's an
everyone.
Avengers movie.
Yeah. Well, Nate, you've signed this drawing, so I don't know whether I'm going to ink over your signature or put my signature. Maybe I'll put mine next to yours. I'll put mine next to yours. That feels right.
Just sign it over mine.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to just steal your signature, like try and figure out how to make your signature say JW, because your signature is so fucking good.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, my drawing's finished. Nearly.
God damn it. All right, we'll do the roundabout then, because you and Nate almost both finished. Well, here's the thing, I gave Todd a full piece to pencil with huge background and everything, and Nate didn't have any background to draw, so that's not fair. And Johnny gave me an 11 by 17 drawing, so, I mean, come on. How am I supposed to get this done in one episode?
That's true. Sorry about that.
And I have to trace the Hydra logo? Are you kidding me, you son of a bitch?
Yeah, I knew while I was doing that was not kind to you.
I don't work digitally, Johnny.
That's super fucked up.
Know.
Nate, you're looking quite finished with Todd's pencils.
Yeah, getting there. I haven't gotten into the whiteout yet. I'm really trying to figure out what I want the texture of his like suit to be, because I've laid down like a lot of black and I don't know if that was the right thing to do. So I'm gonna break out the whiteout. It's probably gonna end up looking like a little more washy than I had kind of anticipated. But Todd's pencils were very sort of like fully realized, and there was like shading and stuff. So it gives me a lot to like work with, which is really cool. But yeah, it's coming right along.
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this was, yeah, I did the face like first thing because that's just usually what I do. And yeah, this face was awesome. I know you had said like, yeah, add the helmet or the mask or whatever you want. I was like, no, I like that face.
Oh, good.
And the hair and everything. It's, man, yeah, really, really good stuff here.
Well, speaking of the painter of our group, Todd, why don't we jump around to yours just to check out how your work over my pencils is going?
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of caught up, I got kind of caught up in his costume. So, and that I've been spending a lot of time on his mask.
Oh man.
I'll turn on the
oh yeah. Damn, that looks good.
I got a long ways to go because he's got the Falcon wings behind him, and then of course I haven't even started on the background yet. And then I probably need to shine stuff up, but yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around this costume. But it's fun. It's fun to draw.
Well, Todd, it's looking great, man. And of course, you're doing the unexpected, which is to be expected. It's the paradox of Todd. You know not to expect anything.
I appreciate you letting me do that, man.
But guys, to jump around, Johnny, I see you're doing like a grayscale on that
I
Baron
want to
Zemo.
see it. I want to see
I
it.
am, yeah. It's soon to become halftone, probably.
Oh god.
Oh,
But we're there.
Wow.
oh man.
I'm really liking this. The inks, the
Yeah.
pencils were so fucking cool. Here we are with the pencils. Hang on, let me get rid of this.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are a good combination.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
I think so. Man, dude, that's awesome.
yeah, I'm liking it. Let's see. Let's pop this back and see where we are, because we're almost on the verge of. I was almost trying to rush through it while you guys were talking there, because I'm almost on the verge of being able to turn this into halftones, which I like it as grayscale. So I've done this a few times now, where like on Procreate you can like just use the gray, like use a gray brush and like go through it, and then you can turn it into like halftone, like newspaper print.
Right.
And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it looks really good, and also it's kind of, with the paper textures I've been using lately, it's kind of reassuring to know that when I'm just laying it down as grayscale, it looks good. So I'm always kind of like, well, if it doesn't work as halftone, this still looks good. So
the feature is literally called halftone, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's pop it on. I think we're ready.
I haven't found a use for that yet, but I always play with it just to see what it looks like, because I'm curious.
Yeah, I always like it just for grays, really.
Yeah, I love the chromatic aberration and liquefy. Dude, I love the shit out of it.
See, that's interesting, because I never use those.
Oh, I love liquefy, man. Oh, yeah, I've gotten crazy with liquefy a few times. Then I'm like, okay, I got to delete this. No one ever must see that. I don't know what just happened, but
You're inking everything I do. I know I said this the last time that you and I collaborated, but like I'm just gonna send you pencils, and you'll be expected to ink them.
I would love to, man, because it makes me look good.
But guys, just to jump around real quick, moving on to Johnny's pencils of the Red Skull that I'm inking.
Ooh.
I have X'd out a lot of the areas for where I'm actually just gonna black out with the brush, but like all of this side was black in your pencils, but I put white over it just for saving ink on my printer.
Yeah, I am sorry about all of that.
No,
That's really cool.
You're fine, man. Yeah, I am so stoked about how this is turning out. I really am loving how the skull in particular.
That's looking really good.
You can tell.
Speaking of Neil Adams.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, Johnny's pencils were so good on this one that the creepiness that you brought to the Red Skull was just there for me to interpret. Like I just put the line down, but you really built up how excellent this drawing is. It's really great, man.
Thank you, man. I was going to say a minor detail as well. I really, really like that you could put like an effect on the cosmic cube. Because I just drew it as a cube. I just drew like nothing about it, just a blank cube, and was like, Mike will figure out whether he wants to do something or nothing with that. And I'm glad you did something. It looks cool.
You should have drawn it as a Rubik's Cube. That would have been funny.
That
would have been good, yeah.
I like that it's the thing and it's like powerful, but it would be hilarious if he just was like, I really like Rubik's Cubes.
I'm just a cube guy.
I insisted to Mike that it has to stay that way. I'm like, you can change anything you like except that Rubik's Cube.
Except for the Rubik's Cube.
But yeah, man, I don't know if this was part of a conspiracy that you guys hatched to get me to use the brush more. But so much of this I'm just going to brush out. But I'm really enjoying the hatching that I'm getting to do. You have this technique, I'll call it hatching. It's evident in the jacket here, but I'm interpreting it through the way that I do lines, and that has been so much fun.
I was interested in that because I started like using the brush with it a lot. I mean, pretty much from the start. And at one point while I was drawing it, I was kind of like, I don't know how Mike's going to interpret this and whether this is going to be a massive pain for him. But I was like, whatever happens is going to be interesting. So I kept at it.
Screw him. He edits the videos. He does a lot of marketing for us. I'll put brushwork on top of his schedule.
Yeah, why not?
Hell yeah.
No, man, I appreciate it. You really gave me something really fun to play with here, and I'm really having a great time.
I mean, I'm excited to see what you do, yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, that just about wraps up this episode 25 of Ink Drink Think. Make sure you guys stop by the comments below this video. Let us know what Marvel superhero you think should take on the mantle of Captain America. Is it Moon Knight? Is it Frank Castle the Punisher? Is it Bruce Banner the Hulk? We're excited to hear who you guys come up with. But also, check out the description of this video. You can find the links to each of our Instagram pages. I think we lost Todd. But you can also find the official Ink Drink Think Instagram page there, where you can check out all of the finalized pieces from this episode and every previous Ink Drink Think thus far. Again, guys, this is episode 25. Go back and check out the other 24 episodes. They're really fun. I have been your host, Michael Pickard, joined by my wonderfully talented co-hosts and friends, Johnny Wise, Nate Wells, and the returning to us, Todd Blackwood. We'll catch you guys in episode 26.